Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. I hope you're all enjoying this wonderful Christmas octave every day, of course, until Sunday is the octave of Christmas, Christmas Day every day. I begin with a little bit of good news, wonderful news. We reached our Giving Tuesday target thanks to your generosity. So already family businesses in Iraq and Lebanon are receiving aid to start businesses or to strengthen their businesses. I'll see them, please God, in just a few weeks when I go to Iraq. I had to, as you know, postpone my visit in December because of my mother's stroke, but hopefully in the third week of January I'll be in Iraq seeing firsthand the businesses we're helping. So thank you again for all your support throughout the year, but especially at this time. As you know, one of the books which particularly struck me this year, the year of our Lord 2022, in fact it's my book of the year, I think, if anyone cares, was Winters in the World, The Journey Through the Anglo-Saxon Year by Dr. Eleanor Parker, lecturer in medieval English literature at Brasenose College, Oxford. Dr. Parker also publishes a regular blog on Twitter called A Clerk of Oxford. She regularly comments in an absolutely fascinating way, I think, about how the Anglo-Saxons celebrated the liturgical feasts, the poetry, hymns and carols, and so many other interesting facts. So the inspiration for this Christmas nugget is definitely hers, although I follow a train of thought which developed as I read her piece. She wrote about an Anglo-Saxon poem which alluded to the Advent titles for Christ, the O antiphons, which I mentioned last week. Parts of this ancient poem are now lost in the mists of time, sadly. We spoke during Advent about how important light is, the imagery of light, particularly in midwinter. However, it's important, I think, to remember that the O antiphons addressed to Christ under his different titles are prayers begging for his appearing. In other words, anticipatory prayers for his birth, which we're now celebrating, and for all that he brings and has brought. The section she writes about is the part of the poem which develops Christ's title as Oriens, the dayspring. We implored in the darkness for the rising sun, the light from the east to come. As Christians, we believe that in the person of Jesus Christ, even in the womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary, the very first tabernacle, the dayspring from on high has come. Here's the heart of her blog and what developed as I read. She comments on the Anglo-Saxon word which starts the poem. Earendel is addressed, a word deep in history with Norse connections, with allusions to so many meanings, including a star, a named star, Earendel. Some of you may be catching a thought in your own heads now. J.R.R. Tolkien, a devout daily mass-going Catholic and of course a professor of Anglo-Saxon poetry at Oxford, read this ancient poem in Anglo-Saxon in 1914. And Parker describes how he was captivated by this mythical name for the morning star. If you know your Lord of the Rings, which you should, the greatest work of fiction of the 20th century, not the appalling TV series or the better movies by Peter Jackson, but the book, you will recall that Tolkien creates a history for Earendel, who eventually becomes a star. Here's the point. Galadriel gives Frodo a phial of some of the light of Earendel to be used when the darkness is at its most extreme and the danger is its worst. When they're in Shelob's cave, the ghastly huge spider, which was rather well done in the movie, very creepy if you hate spiders, Sam reminds Frodo of the light he's carrying. Frodo responds, "Why yes, why had I forgotten it? A light when all other lights go out, and now indeed light alone can help us." Tolkien, the author, continues, Frodo gazed in wonder at this marvellous gift he had so long carried, not guessing its full worth and potency. Belloc wrote, "Faith is the only beacon in this night. if beacon there be. We believers in Bethlehem have the light when all others go out. It's the light we're celebrating in this great octave of Christmas. It's a gift some of us have so long carried, but maybe have forgotten. We've forgotten its full worth and potency. This light alone can help us when all other false lights, which some of us have followed maybe for many years, have been extinguished. Why have we forgotten this marvellous gift of the light which we've carried since baptism? Like the shepherds at the crib, gaze in wonder at this light, and with resolution begin anew to experience its full worth and potency. Brethren, rejoice, be perfected, be comforted, be of the same mind, be at peace, and the God of peace and love will be with you.